This is Advisor 3.0, a show designed to help you as a financial advisor elevate your professional practice, transform your clients' lives, and take your business to the next level. I am Abraham Okusanya. Welcome to the show. A crucial part of building a great financial planning business is the operational backbone. It's not only important to delivering great client outcomes, but it's a crucial part of growing a thriving business. My guest today is Chirine Harb, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Capital Asset Management, a London-based boutique financial planning firm now entrusted with managing over £500 million of client asset. Chirine's journey to financial planning is a unique one. Born and raised in Saudi Arabia, graduated, studied architecture, graduated MBA from Harvard, and somehow that path led to London and financial planning. Chirine, welcome to the show.
Oh my goodness, thank you for having me. What a great introduction. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. It's great to have you. So give us a sense of that journey. How does that girl, born and raised in Saudi Arabia, ended up in Boston and in London?
Yes. So my journey started when I went to university because I loved structure and creating something simple from complexity. And that's what led me to structural engineering or structural architecture. And in very similar vein, financial services is like that. You create something simple out of the complex, which is people's financials. But I wasn't always financially savvy, so I really loved what I did when I studied architecture. And I did it for a while, but due to circumstances, I moved to London with my young family. And what happened then was a crucial part of my life is I was in London, this financial hub of the world.
Yeah.
Why don't I take that leap and apply my love for structure and operational excellence and logic to the financial services world? And that's how I started.
Logic and operational excellence. I love those words. Do you feel that there is enough appreciation for the amount of work that goes on behind the scene in running and growing a great financial planning business?
I think there is, and I think it's a misconception that we are like hiding behind the limelight, because the advisors and the financial planners and the talented people that deliver client excellence know that they can't do it without us and we can't do it without them. So it's a joint effort. And what we create for them is a simple way of delivering their services and their talents to the clients and helping them through their financial journey and creating a plan for them that is good for their future. So it's a misconception that we are underdogs. We are really actually the people that create the growth.
I couldn't agree more. So let's talk about capital. Give us a sense of the structure of the business, how the business is set up, and your role within the business.
Okay. So my role within the business is really to combine, I'm a COO of a business, and when you are a COO of any business, you probably know that you put on a lot of hats. You put on a hat of HR, you put on a hat of IT, you put a hat on finance, processes and policies and compliance and regulation. And you have to kind of be aware of everything that happens around you and making sure that the business is running as smoothly as possible for the people in it to be able to deliver a great service. So as a COO, I put on so many hats, and it depends on what hat I'm wearing during the day. I can wear different hats during the day as well. But our main goal is to create an environment where people can thrive. They're empowered to create a great client journey. They are empowered to make decisions and help people with their lives. basically. And that's my role. Capital is 500 million, as you said, assets under management. We have around 340 families that we take care of. And one of the one thing that we pride ourselves in is that we provide a fixed fee model. So we don't charge a percentage, which means that two twins that are exactly the same kind of person and share the DNA, if they have different needs in life, they get charged differently. And if they have the same amount of money but have different needs, they get charged differently, which makes it fair for everyone. And it's what the regulation has been talking about for years now.
Advisor 3.0 is back. Financial planners, are you ready? One day, over 20 game-changing sessions. On May the 15th, 2025, London is the place to be if you want to shake up your skills and network with the very best. Oh, did I not mention? National Tim Peake is a headline speaker. Yeah, that Tim Peake. So get your tickets now at advisor3.0.co. Don't just stay in the game, lead it.
So let's talk about this structure between financial planners, the para-planner, I don't know what name or term you use, you know, the administrative type support. How is that set up within the firm?
So our structure is currently in a pod structure.
Right.
So we've got a planner with an associate planner. And a trainee associate planner. We don't have administrators to say.
Right.
What we do have, though, is a team of people that work collaboratively to create the best possible outcome for the client. The advisor is basically the person that signs off the advice, or the planner. The associate planner is the person that is creative enough to come up with the ideas that allows the advisor to present this information to the client, and the research behind it and the decisions behind it, and they work collaboratively. I've watched them work.
Right.
I've watched all of them work, and I'm not a financial planner myself, and I thought architecture was creative, and I thought, you know, you sit there and draw and you hone in your colors and your art. In structure is the same thing. You hone in structure and you hone in design and how does this look with this look. But these guys, they sit there and discuss nitty-gritty details about financial plan of a person, of a family. And they start debating and collaborating and arguing and feeding off of each other. It's amazing to watch because they are creating something from scratch for this family. And so that's the way we work, in a pod structure, but they all work together to deliver the best outcome.
So then you as the chief operating officer, you're straddling all of these things, which would, as you said, include HR, compliance. I heard you moved offices recently.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, that was stressful.
So talk a little bit about that. How does that work at the same time, all of that going on at the same time where these pods are delivering services to real clients every single day?
So one of my core jobs is to create processes and procedures that are so slick that anybody can follow them. You know, there is freedom in the framework, so that it allows for creativity. But these processes that we've created together actually allow for the teams to deliver this client service. In the meantime, I have overview on what the clients are, what they like and what they don't like. Do they have any complaints? Are there any errors that we need to be aware of? We hear that, because we're a tight-knit group, we hear the stories of the clients. There are good stories and there are bad stories, and it allows me to give input into what can be done and what can't be done. But in the meantime, I make sure that the people are taken care of. They are motivated, they are engaged, they are rewarded, they are empowered from an HR point of view. They have the tools and the tools they need and the resources to create a great, they should be proud of the work that they deliver. Through IT and through software and through technology and things that work and work on time. When it comes to compliance, I make sure that we are regulatory checking every single box and making sure that we follow every single rule and we are aware of everything that's happening so that we are compliant from a regulatory point of view. Being SMF 16, 17 is a big responsibility, and I take it very, very seriously. But it's easy when you're always doing the right thing for the client. So I have a general overview. Also finances, budgeting, forecasts, income, making sure that we don't spend more than we should do, making sure that we are spending on things we value rather than, as a business, things we value rather than things we need or have to have. Alan, my CEO, is having a great time running this business, not feeling stress. And that is a really, really important role.
It's interesting you talked about that, relationship, with the CEO and Alan, who's the visionary. I've come across this framework of a visionary who has the vision, probably has 15 different ideas.
Yes, it is.
Every single day. I might know others. I might know someone like that as well. And then, and then you have the integrator.
Yeah.
The person who actually has to take this vision, maybe shave off the nonsensical ones, and get to the heart of the matter and take that and implement it and turn it into a result. Talk about that collaboration between you as the CEO and the CEO, the visionary of the business.
First of all, that relationship has to be, and without a shadow of a doubt, built on trust. And if there is no trust between the CEO and the COO, then it is a relationship doomed to fail. And I say that with complete respect for every CEO and every COO, because they are two peas in a pod. They have to be. And they have to be honest, and they have to be comfortable with each other, and they have to know when to argue and when argument is for the better, for getting things done better. But it also takes a lot of strength from the CEO to hear a no from the COO. And I know I say a lot of no's, or not now, more like. And that is the relationship I think I have with Alan. It's a relationship where he really trusts me and I trust him. And he trusts the fact that when I say no, it's not no to the idea, it's no, not now, not within our framework of what we've decided to do at the beginning of the year. Because as a visionary, and he is definitely a visionary, he does come up with the craziest ideas sometimes. And they are fantastic. And you sometimes think to yourself, why the heck didn't I think of that myself? What was happening with my brain? I'm smart enough, but it's just the fact that they're always out there. They're always connected to people. They're always listening to things and hearing things and talking to people, that they come up with these ideas, and they are so good. And some of them we've implemented, some of them we haven't implemented, and some of them we are going to implement. The one thing with CEOs, and maybe it's not every CEO, is that they grab this idea and they don't have the skills or the talent or the know-how of how to implement it. And that's where we come in. We come in because we know how to implement, how to execute, how to deliver, and how to create structure an organization out of the craziness. That's what our job is.
It does take a great degree of humility from the CEO to recognize that, I recognize all the time that I can't do this. I can come up with ideas, I can motivate and inspire people, but when it comes to actually getting stuff done and making sure that people are aligned, that I'm not your guy. And I'm finding somebody else who's got that complementary skill to do that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And humility, you're right, is very big. It's actually better if they just understand and respect that about themselves. It's not their job to do it. It's our job to do it. And Alan is humble enough to go, I'm bored now, I'm not gonna, no, I'm done. I've given you the idea, you go. You do your thing. Yes, it's built on trust. And if trust isn't there, it's not going to work.
Okay, so I want to talk about growth, in particular, the role that you play in helping growing the firm. And I think growth is challenging for financial planning businesses right now. Talk to me about how you see growth and the role that you play in growing capital.
Yeah. I think the role that I play most in growing capital is creating efficiencies that allow us to grow within the same amount of people that we have at the moment. I am not responsible for marketing or getting leads or any of that stuff. But what I am responsible for is creating efficiencies inside the business that allows us to do less in the time that we've got to allow us to take on more clients or help more people. So that's where my role fits in. And it's Alan and the marketing team's job to bring the leads in. My job is to create capacity for them through efficiencies.
What are the least efficient part of a financial planning business?
It's the letters of authority. It's the letters of authority that the information that we are getting back, it's taking forever. That it really takes a long time and a lot of phone calls and a lot of back and forth with the providers, and that is hard work, really hard work. It's unavoidable, unfortunately. We need the information we need to create proper advice for the clients. And we can't get the information we need, so it frustrates the clients and frustrates the planners. And there are some tools out there that are fantastic, like Pension Lab and that you know about, and like Re-LOA, like all of those. But if the providers don't help as well by providing the information quicker, more efficient, and to the information we need, it's not going to get anywhere. So there is that frustration.
And there is this danger, especially when it comes to growth, that as you are growing the top line, the revenue, or adding more clients, you're also growing the cost base. And to the extent that that's happening at the same pace, then you're not making progress as a business.
And that is the issue. That is a major issue. Like, for example, you have to pay for Pension Lab, you have to pay for Re-LOA, and they're great, and they ease up, but they don't ease it up so much that you're actually saving money. And there is that danger of you ending up spending a lot more on technologies that are supposed to help you than freeing up time and freeing up and saving money. So there is a very, very fine line almost between trying to find the right technology that will actually create efficiencies and savings in time and money and spending too much.
Let's talk about people. So how do you motivate people and get people aligned to deliver?
So I don't know if you've heard of the proverb, trust, then verify. Trust, then verify is an old Russian proverb, but it was used during the Cold War with Ronald Reagan, where you give trust first, not build it. You don't have time for that. You give trust first. And then, through actions, trust is then verified. Because you've given your trust, because you've empowered people, they dedicate their time to you and their productivity to you. So they are not wasting their time trying to gain your trust, because that is counterproductive. And I live by that. I trust people implicitly, and sometimes it's burnt me, but I do trust my team completely to do the right thing for the business and for the clients, and more importantly for themselves. I need them to be empowered. I need them to be able to say what they think, feel what they need to feel. I want to be there for them at good times and bad times and jokey and sad. Because the people are your biggest asset. You have to make an impact. People are your legacy. The people are your legacy. The people that work with you, for you, and become you. And therefore, if you don't give them that trust immediately, then it's a transactional relationship when it can't be. because we're humans.
There's been a lot of talk lately about, working from home, working from office, whether the team want to go into a physical place, whether the business needs them to go into a physical place. How has Capital approached all of that stuff?
Believe it or not, before COVID, we were very strict, 9 to 5, 5 days a week.
Right.
And before COVID, way before COVID, one of my colleagues was on a Friday afternoon at about 4:15, was reading the newspaper at her desk. And I looked at her and I was like, "What are you doing?" And she said, "I finished my work and there's nothing really for me to start right now that I can finish right now. I'd rather start it Monday." So I was like, "Pack your stuff, get the next train and go home and start your weekend early." It's like, "Are you sure? It's only 4:15. It doesn't matter. You've done everything you needed to do." It took a while for that mentality to sink into the directors, but everybody does it now in our offices. You come in when you want, you leave when you want, you go to the gym when you want, you have lunch when you want, you work from home when you want. I've got the one policy is that please be in the office at least twice a week so that we can have fun and see each other. And there are times when we don't actually get any work done. It's just the camaraderie and the joyfulness and the laughter that makes people want to come to work. And we're still productive. We still get our work done. And we are still delivering great customer experiences for our clients. So it doesn't matter when people work. What matters is how productive they are and how much they want to be there. And when they want to be there, they'll do anything to deliver to the business.
And it goes back to the trust point. If you trust people to be grown up and to deliver, they will. If you do otherwise, they probably won't. So Capital prides itself in helping clients experience true wealth. What does true wealth mean to you?
True wealth means waking up in the morning and feeling good about the day, going to sleep at night and feeling like I've done something that had an impact on someone, one person, just one person. And if I've done that, that is true wealth for me. Obviously, I want my family to be healthy and happy and comfortable and peace of mind, and give them peace of mind. And I think that is universal across the world. I want peace of mind. I want comfort. And I think that is partly what true wealth is for me as well.
There's something inspiring about you when I first met you. And as I began to research, for this podcast, I found this piece about your growing up, right? So I'll read it and then I'll get your response. You said, "My parents were both hardworking and raised me to be the same. I excelled at school and sports, but unfortunately the opportunity for girls in the mid-80s was very limited. After high school, a girl had two options. Either try and enroll into the one university in Riyadh where you could graduate in home economics or dentistry, or get married. You didn't take either of those options as a girl.
My parents are incredible people. When I was giving a talk at HUM, I was explaining that they supported everything I did. I was different, very different. I wanted to ride horses. So my dad would take me to a stable really late in the evening because women weren't allowed to go horseback riding. So it was quiet, so I was able to get the horses out and ride. We weren't allowed to drive, so my dad would take me out dressed as a man to which was illegal, to drive a car, especially in the afternoon when it was siesta time and nobody was out in the streets. So my dad and my mum were very, very supportive of my shenanigans, as you would call them. And I've told my dad that I can't see myself getting married early as in, 18, for me at least, or home economics. I couldn't make an omelette rather than home economics. And school was really, really tough because the boys' school had all the sports stuff and we had sewing room and a kitchen of both, which I didn't enjoy. What I wanted to do was be more like my dad, who went to work every single day, and had purpose. And I told him this, and he said, well, we might need to send you to university somewhere in the world that's not here. But my language was Arabic, and I studied in Arabic, so it was really tough for me to redo everything in English. So I went to a prep school in Michigan at the beginning. I got my English up to par, realized that I had some brain in me, so I applied to different universities and started at a university called Wentworth, which was the undergraduate bit, and then did my master's at MIT, because I loved drawing and designing and structure and complexity, and all that stuff just fascinated me. And initially I got into architecture because my English wasn't that great, because it's easier to draw than to speak. But it turned out to be all math and physics and, and so that's why I did my first year in prep school to get my English up to speed.
So you got an MSc in
Yeah.
a master's in architecture.
Yes, and then I went.
And as though that's not enough, you went to Harvard and you got an MBA.
So when I was an intern, during my master's degree, I went and worked for a architecture firm in Boston, and it was a beautiful building, and we were at the top floor, big windows, and the main architect, took me under his wing. He was more of a businessman than I was an architect. And I was doing everything from taking coffee to people, to drawings, do you remember the blueprints that they had, cutting them, rolling them, putting them in, and this is back in the 80s, so it's quite a long time ago, early 90s. But I was arrogant. I had some arrogance in me. I am an MIT graduate, come on. And I made a mistake once, and I think I argued with him. And he said to me, it's not where you're from, what degree you've got, what school you've got, it's your attitude. Fix your attitude and you can go places. You cannot fix your attitude, you cannot go places. And from there, he became my mentor. And he encouraged me to get my MBA because I had a knack for leadership and operational structure and money and finances and marketing, and I had a knack for business rather than a knack for design. I liked it, but I wasn't great at it. And I did it maybe for the wrong reasons. But business and running businesses and making things that are complex simple was my knack, was the thing that I fell in love with. And when I came to this country, I started from scratch, because you have to start from scratch. You have to start from a place where you're not comfortable with, outside your comfort zone. And you start growing as a person and as a human being and as an individual, and you start learning and acquiring information from different places. And you constantly challenge who you are and what you're about and who do you want to influence. And that's what an MBA does, really. It just gives you a very wide range of leadership skills that allow you to influence.
So if you were to meet that 13-year-old girl or 8-year-old girl that you were back, what would you tell her now? Knowing everything you know, being on the journey that you've been, what would you say to her?
Don't give up. Be true to who you are. Trust your gut. Trust your instinct. And it's no problem starting over again and again and again, because starting over is actually fun.
That's wonderful. What's next for you and Capital?
I think we want to see a really good growth spurt in the next few years. I'd love to see that. We have been really working hard in the background, trying to make everything very efficient and streamlined through AI and through creating relationships with people like yourselves. And I would like to see a good, nice, healthy growth spurt with the right type of client, the right type of people that actually feed into our values and our vision. That's what I think is the next step. And it's quite exciting because it's going to be a little bit different than it has been in the last couple of years where we were working on the infrastructure of the business.
What's healthy growth for financial planning firm? What does it look like in your mind, percentage-wise?
Percentage-wise, I would like us to grow at least 20% year on year. And I think 20% is healthy because it allows you to pick and choose the clients you want to work with. You don't want to work with everybody because you can't help everybody. There are specific things we do that are targeted to specific clients. And 20% sounds like a good number to me.
Well, 20% from half a billion, before you know it, you'll be knocking on $1 billion. And I know that's not how you or Alan or others measure impact, but it's a shorthand to think about how many.
It's very funny how everything has to be numerical. Yes, it is, because people ask us all the time, what's your funds under management? And to us, it's not a thing. Well, I now have $500 million. It's actually 511 million. But it's not a thing for us because it's not what our vision and our purpose is.
It's the impact that counts.
It's the impact.
Chirine Harb, it's been wonderful talking to you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. It was loads of fun, and you're right, I did enjoy it.
That's a wrap on today's show. Massive thanks to my production crew, especially Jake Osha, Melissa Canham, and the entire team. And of course, to our sponsor, Timeline, the market-leading provider of integrated planning technology and model portfolio service to advisors. I do hope you've enjoyed today's show. Head over to Apple Podcast and give us your review there. Until next time, goodbye.